after about a month, we had an audience. So we knew we could pull people. You know, we could just see that. And we moved to another club, no audience. Then after about 2 or 3 weeks, big audience. So we knew in Hamburg, by the time we got back to England, we knew we could do it. In England, nobody knew we could do it. So we always had this little bit more faith in ourselves than anybody else did.
So it was something that you had to work quite hard at in the early days?
Yeah, oh yeah.
When the Beatles split, you had a choice facing you. Did you want to go solo or form another band?
Well, when the Beatles split, I didn't really want to do anything, because it was pretty painful. Suddenly, friends that you'd known for years were like turning on you. And, you know, it's like a messy divorce. It's not pleasant. So it's very difficult to kind of do anything. But I just thought, well, if I don't do anything, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter. If I don't keep it up, maybe I'm going to forget how to do it. I mean, an athlete, if he stops athletics for a year, it's going to make a big difference. So really all I wanted was just something to practice with. I wanted anything so that I could have a sing per day, you know, just so that I'd keep doing it, so that I didn't get out of practice. Because if I ever did get out of practice, I went up to Scotland once or twice and just buried myself up there, you know, just in heather. But it didn't work because I found I was getting rusty. If I try and write a song, I've forgotten a bit how to do it. And I didn't want to do that. So I decided to keep in practice one way or another. So that really meant forming a new group. So I just said to Linda, you know, should we form a group? It was done very casually. She said, yeah, you know, maybe, if you like. And it was done that casually. And we got hold of a few friends and we formed Wings. And that was the reason really, just so that I wouldn't just have to give up. It was really something else to do after the Beatles. And then that over the years kind of got its own following. At first, you know, I thought, well, there's no chance with this, but I'll do it anyway. But it started to get its own following, you know. And I mean, it got crazy towards the end of Wings. You were finding young kids being born who were saying to their parents, is it true Paul McCartney was in a group before Wings? That's really true, you know. I mean,
yes,
it sounds like a joke to us older folk, but there really are, you know, that started to happen. So, you know, it's quite a good thing in the end.
You mentioned that you were looking around for a group and you were looking to write more songs. Was it a question of you maybe losing a bit of self-confidence at the end of the Beatles split? And
a bit? A lot.
Really?
Yeah, very much, yeah. Well, you know, I always say, like, it was as if on the Monday you had one of the best jobs in the music world. Definitely, it's nothing much higher than being in the Beatles. Yeah? And on the Tuesday, you were out of work. You didn't have it anymore, and you'd come this 10 years and known fame and known success. Suddenly you didn't have it, you know. And it brought on a feeling that I've heard a lot of unemployed people mention, which is a kind of feeling of uselessness. You feel suddenly you're not worth anything, you know. And people say, but you can write songs, you know, you've got some money left, it's all right, you know, don't panic. No, you know, to me it was like I lost my role. It's identity crisis, I suppose someone would call it. But it was that, really, and it was very difficult for a while, because on top of that, there was also, like, the business stuff, which was making it very difficult, you know, having to sue people. So it was heavy times. It was not pleasant at all. But one good thing is at least they finish, and then you see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
So you had a great period of enjoyment and creativity with Wings, and then after that you worked on 2 solo albums, Tug of War and Pipes of Peace. Now, what was the thinking behind those?
Well, after Wings,
yeah.
I realized that in some ways a group situation is limiting. If you're working with the same group of people all the time in music, if, for instance, you write a song that needs a piano solo that's got to sound very New Orleans, a real old jazzy New Orleans sounding blues, and your pianist in the group can't do that, you've got to knock that idea out. If you're after a Spanish guitar solo that is impeccably played and your guitar player can't play like that, you're finished. So that's what's wrong with groups, you know. You've got to have a very definite direction, like, say, the Stones, which is all blues. They're just, everything's just blues or C and W. Pretty much anything they do. So that there's never that conflict, you know. They're always, the guitar player, Keith or Ronnie, are being asked to play something that's familiar to them. In my kind of music, I might throw an oddball solo at a guitar player because it's a bit more wider.